Hi, everybody. This is day 1320. So, we've been doing this for quite a while, which means that we understand this case and how it is connected to the Walmart mass shooting that occurred on August 3rd, 2019, which is 5 years ago, right? It'll be 5 years ago. Um, and so that's what we want to talk about today. We're going to talk about Judge Medrano. Um, that's up to no good. We have been poring over articles um, to, you know, uh, piece together a lot of the puzzle, and we think we've done that. So, thank you so much. So, and I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming on over and over again and paying attention to this case because it is really, really important. Um, the Walmart mass shooting of August 3rd, 2019 was an orchestrated, military trained. We believe it was absolutely military trained. Um, uh, and we're praying that the weapons, that the M4s, that the other weapons, that the ammunition, that the uh, brown tip bullets that are normally not ever registered didn't come from the armory on Fort Bliss. That didn't come from Fort Bliss. And we're praying that Thomas Kane had nothing to do with it because, he was in charge of security at the time. How, how, if this all, um, if the weapons did come from Fort Bliss, the M4s, because we absolutely know that this job was orchestrated not by just regular civilians, okay? They are very, very connected. They're so much connected that they're connected with the military, that there is military training here. And how do we know that? Because of Judge Medrano, right? Because of Judge Medrano. Um, and and the motive for the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting was really like a political coup in that El Paso area. It had absolutely election tampering um, focus or a target. The target was to attack the opposition, and it wasn't just, because when you first hear it, you think, oh, it's racist, oh, it's white supremacy, but that's not really what it was because um, when you read the stories, they really blame it on MAGA, right? They blame it on Trump. They put the weapons in the form of letters TRUMP, right? And blame it on MAGA. And then the white supremacy is in addition to that. The racism is in addition to that. So this was really an attack on President Trump running for reelection and all of his followers. And that's very believable for us because we were at January 6th. And, you know, my husband, I mean, uh, 30 years in the military, risking his life and um, be, just a stellar soldier, was called a domestic terrorist for going to the nation's capital and passing out flyers and prayer candles for information on his son. And he was called a domestic terrorist. And we've been bullied and harassed. and not as bad as some people that were there on January 6th, but we were also gassed. We were tear gassed um, for passing out, for saying the Lord's Prayer, because we were saying the Lord's Prayer, and right after that, they gassed us. They sent over one of those gas bombs. Um, yeah, so do we believe that there are people that are so desperate to hold on to power or to get power that they would organize a mass shooting, that they would be killers? Yes, we absolutely. Because one thing that we learned on January 6th is that they were trying to, with the tear gas, they were trying to get us to stampede each other. Okay? They were absolutely drawing us close and then tear gassing us to try to get us to panic and to do some real harm. And the people that were there were so many veterans of selfless service that uh, we watched out for each other. We absolutely watched out for each other. And of course, my son-in-law, he was just had the presence of mind um, and just really directed us on how to get through this tear gas without panicking and trampling on one another and hurting each other. So would they absolutely do something like this so that we would hurt each other? Yes. Are they murderers? Absolutely, absolutely. They're premeditated murderers. Absolutely. So, and I'm talking about the Walmart mass shooting. And who did that involve? Well, um, you know, I'm going to say right now, I'm praying that it did not include Thomas Kane, because from all indication, he would have to um, have been very sick that day. In the aftermath of it, before it, just like with Richard's case, but this is Richard's case, right? This is the same people. Um, and I even suspect Dallas Hart, Lalani Hart, and James Hart in being involved some way, somehow, um, with all of this planning, with all of this, uh, you know, I think that they are absolute suspects in it, with Tavita Nusa, with Marlon Soto, with Thomas Kane, with Nieto, um, Jesus Eddie Nieto, with Cynthia Hernandez Nieto, with Bradford Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM, and his father-in-law, Nadal Bayim, knowing things. I know soldiers must know things. I think Command Sergeant Major Jakovitz, absolutely Major General Clem Coward, absolutely um, Matlock, absolutely Matlock, Angela Kachurga, with Bob Moore, with Jaime Esparza, with Bill Hicks, with Justin Underwood, with Felix Valenzuela, uh, with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, with her son Thomas Hoffman, and there's just more. There's so many more in this group, with Mario Raskin Ortiz, the chief medical examiner. Absolutely, those are my suspicions, because um, they would absolutely know that, because of the forensics. Let's just take the medical examiner, the forensics. You have Chris Grant, right, who absolutely is a very bad player in all of this. I mean, he's with 3905 Bliss Avenue and Dreams Cabaret and Chris Grant. That exposes the truth of the Walmart mass shooting, right? It absolutely exposes it. So we know that Chris Grant had a open warrant out for his arrest. Um, why is he being protected? Why was he made a media sweetheart? None of that makes sense when he was actually lying about what happened in Walmart. So he has an open warrant out for his arrest, and he's lying about what's happening in Walmart, but they're covering for him, and yet you have someone genuine like Glendon Oakley Jr. that they absolutely feed him to the wolves. Feed him to the wolves, right? They don't even protect him, but they're protecting Ernest Christopher Grant. So that with the connection to Donna Sifford, who has a connection very important to Richard's case, um, and also you have the connection to Lionel Gutierrez with the El Paso Police Department. And the El Paso Police Department is walking on eggs when it comes to Christopher Grant, saying, well, he didn't tell the truth, but, he's still a victim. Well, let's look at the forensic. If you're going to be shot by an AK-47, and you're reading his story in the paper, what he's saying, where he's walking through the store after being shot twice in the gut by an AK-47 and making his way to the automotive and messing around there for a while, and then going into a truck with this off-duty police officer. That doesn't make sense either, because once he got there, he needed to be on duty. I mean, something is not right there. Um, Once you look at the background of who they're all related to, uh, and what addresses they're related to and what's going on there, it's very clear that this is not the truth. The whole narrative of August 3rd, 2019 is not the truth, okay? And the chief medical examiner would absolutely tell us what kind of bullets, right, hit Chris Grant, because no way could he be going around doing what he did, and even in the aftermath, an AK-47. Just no. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all, and I've been talking to many professionals in that, and they don't buy it either. And so, there's something that's not right with the medical examiner, and we found that medical examiner's name because we were given the autopsy reports, even the Mexican one that had the name Ortiz on it, for the partial remains of our son in Mexico, which we haven't gotten an answer back on. Are they real? Are they fake? Are they whatever? Nobody wants to give us an answer on them. Why not? Why not? Right? And then all of a sudden the chief medical examiner is an Ortiz, um, and then he's connected to 3905 Bliss Avenue, the same as Danae Katzen, the same as Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. And then we don't, and then you have Bill Hicks representing the funeral home, the Purchase Funeral Homes, that, we're going to give free funerals. Something is not right. And then you have the theft of identity all over the place in this. all over the place. you know, like even Glendon Oakley Jr.'s identity has been stolen, and his social security number is being used. So it's very clear that you know there are positions, people in positions that could blow this open at any time, including the FBI supervisory agent there. He could absolutely, he has every reason to arrest several people, including Leilani Hart, and that hasn't been done. And you have the medical examiner absolutely could reveal how all this is by multiple shooters uh, just through the forensics. And you can say, oh, well, that would have to come through the trial, right? That would have to come through this open trial. Okay, well, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going to Judge Medrano. Judge Medrano has had his name in the paper lately, and he addressed the community through the media, which is not, that's a violation of his code of conduct as a judge. And why did he do that? Because he was afraid of his reputation or scrutiny or criticism. He was afraid of criticism. That's also a violation of his code of conduct as a judge, because judges are not supposed to be afraid of criticism. They're supposed to overcome that, right, and be neutral. So, and what did he address the community on? That, it was because of Jaime Esparza, retiring. No, Jaime Esparza, we checked, he was there for about a year and a half more. You can't have any kind of scheduling of any orders because for a year and a half, that doesn't make sense. Not to this kind of case. This kind of case is not that difficult. You could at least have the order of the mental health evaluation of Patrick Crucius. You can at least have who do you want to be expert witnesses, like the chief medical examiner, right? And there was no calling out DA Jaime Esparza by the judge, because Jaime Esparza's sister was a victim, was there during the act of shooting, that he went and walked the crime scene, which made him a witness to the crime scene. And, he didn't recuse himself, and the judge didn't remove him, and let him be there for a year and a half. And he's supposed to be the prosecutor for the case when he's a witness in the case, and his sister is a victim of the case. It doesn't work that way. And so these are irregularities and these are violations that absolutely manifest that this was an organized, planned mass shooting, and you have people that are there to cover it up, to stall it, to leave it in pieces, and that's what's happened. We're at almost 5 years, and we don't even have any kind of scheduling orders. The judge at the very least should say, where is Patrick Crucius? I want him at every one of these status hearings. And he hasn't done that. And you're talking about the death penalty for Patrick Crucius. And the judge needs to have Patrick Crucius in front of him to evaluate him, because he needs to look. They even appointed some kind of ad litem for this case. Uh, that's not that. That's weird too when you look it up. So I'm not a lawyer. But something is not right. The DA, Bill Hicks, that was chosen by the governor, is not right. He does not have a good background at all. It's terrible. You would think on this case you would pick the best of the best, and they didn't. But what they did choose was somebody that was representing Purchase Funeral Homes, a key witness in the case. How can a DA prosecute a case when his client, where he knows all these details about all the paperwork of this company, Purchase Funeral Homes, uh, he's supposed to prosecute and they're a witness, and there's a too much conflict of interest there. And the judge is saying that, Jaime Esparza was retiring, so I couldn't do anything. And then he blames it on COVID, right? Then he blames it on COVID, and it's like, no, you could have organized it, go through, find a way. Everybody else found a way, made a way through it, and then he'll blame it on, the resignation of Yvonne Rosales, um, which is just when he was working against Yvonne Rosales, because if you read the gag order, the July 1st, 2022 gag order, um, you absolutely realize that the judge was stopping Yvonne Rosales, okay? He was stopping her as the prosecutor from criticizing, speaking out against the case. So everything here, um, shows that there is there's collusion, there's conspiracy, there's organization of, uh, you know, of really murderers in high places, um, accessory to murder, when you're covering up something like this, right? It's, to me, this is my opinion. To me, this is how serious this is. And, is it connected to Richard's case? 100%. Through 3905 Bliss Avenue, through Danae Katzen, through Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, through the medical examiner, and on and on, through, of course, Leilani Hart. Um, so this is because of Ernest Christopher Grant, because of Dreams Cabaret, where Leilani Hart was getting her mail, because of Thomas Kane, right? There's just absolutely so many connections, and I think once it all breaks, there's even going to be more connections revealed with the Belen, with the Ortegas, with the Rochas. Um, yeah, uh, so where is Judge Medrano going from here, right? He said it. He, this is all in the news. This is not me saying it. He's saying that, he's not even going to um, have a trial date. He is not even reprimanding the lawyers for not even having one motion, not even one motion, right? So, clearly there is an effort to keep this case in pieces, clearly. clearly there is an effort to not give justice to the victims of the Walmart mass shooting. And I would count those victims as Glendon Oakley Jr. and also Richard Halliday, because it's all connected. And with Fort Bliss, and this is why they want to keep it very quiet and why they want to censor and do the gag orders, the irregular, illegal, I believe illegal violations against the First Amendment gag order, because this is why we have oversight. This is why we have freedom of speech to say what our suspicions are. And, if the law enforcement community that's not corrupt decides that there is some merit to what we're saying, they could investigate it. But yet, they want to silence anybody from saying any kind of criticism. And, we are at almost 5 years and we have no orders, no scheduling orders from the judge. And we have no trial date set. Now, that is, just to give you a comparison, an idea, normally with a case in the first 10 days, and I think every other case that Judge Medrano has presided over, he did a scheduling order. Okay? It could be just the list of pieces of evidence, or the evidence that cannot be used, or the witnesses list, or the professional witnesses, expert witnesses list, or just to get Patrick Crucius in court, right? Why isn't he standing in front of Judge Medrano every time? Let's get a mental health order on Patrick Crucius. So there's so much that can be done over and over again. And I'm not even an attorney. An attorney can just spit it all out. I've spoke to some people and just looked, Team 5 Richard Halliday looked and said, oh yeah, they can just spit it out and tell you how this is supposed to go, even in the first 10 days. And if you look at Judge Medrano's history, every other case, the first 10 days, we've gone, over 4.5 years, and he hasn't cared to do anything. So this delay in justice is a delay in justice for our son, is a delay in justice for Glendon Oakley Jr. Absolutely, because the discovery on all of that would be very interesting to, look at who's involved, who was doing the bullying, uh, of this key witness, and also with Richard's case, because Richard's case is intertwined, and it would all come out how they fit together and who was doing it. So, it's for Judge Medrano to participate in a mass murder cover-up, okay? Not only that, but election tampering, because their idea was to make this, blame it on Trump during, an election year cycle, and then to get the bond money, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's such a deception right there. Yeah. It's just, it takes your breath away how these people, these few people that have gotten these jobs in very high places and have abused their power, misused their power for evil. And that's very, very clear on this. So thank you so much. Thank you, Grace, for coming on. And the truth is going to come out. And I hope that you share this because absolutely there is no doubt uh, by all the articles that you can read, there's no doubt that this was a mass shooting made by many individuals, made to have a narrative by a convicted criminal that's not a reliable source, with his friends, with his connections, to look like a, lone shooter that represents MAGA and Trump, and yeah, just to put a bad face on Trump's campaign and the ideology of Make America Great Again. So and to make money off of it, and then let's make a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars off of it, and tax the El Pasoans. So that is really important, and everyone has to realize that focusing on the mass shooting of August 3rd, 2019 is in no way ignoring Richard's case. They are the same case. They are the same case as far as being intertwined with one another. And so if we solve one, we're going to solve the other. And I just feel like that the Walmart mass shooting case is so clearly a violation in so many ways that I don't think that they can hide it. And I think it's their Achilles heel in all of this. I just don't think they can hide it. So thank you so much for sharing and coming on. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.